You're listening to the True North Success Podcast. Real stories of personal, professional, and financial wins from Alberta's best. With your hosts, Gary Ma and Amy Kim.
So hi everyone, welcome back to the show. Today, my special guest is Klaus Rubba. Klaus is a product builder and a CEO and innovator, creating a non-code platform that transforms knowledge into interactive stimulations and decision-driven experiences. From launching a silent auction app in 2018 to building AI-powered tools and gamified training systems, he specialized in rapid validation and user-centered design and turning ideas into scalable products. It's a real pleasure to have him on the show today. Welcome, Klaus.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, Klaus, I gave a brief overview of your success. Can you fit in the detail of what you do and is there any main clients and how long you've been doing this for?
Sure. A little bit of background. You mentioned the silent auction app. That was kind of my first foray into product development. That happened 8 or 9 years ago now. And that really gave me a taste for it. And I just love the ability to build something and talk to customers and get the feedback and help them solve the problems. And so at that time, when I built that, I was at a consulting company. And so it wasn't my product. I didn't own it, but it was successful enough that my boss at the time got himself bought out from the company, split off a new startup, brought me on as co-founder. And so we ran that for several years. I've been working on a couple of different product ideas for the last several years, and you mentioned the game-based game engine that I've been working on, kind of AI-powered game engine. That's, I've been encountering some struggles there as well with the market validation and such. But there's actually another product that I've been working on for the last 2 months, which is moving much faster and is getting validation. And I can give a quick background to how that originated. Last year, when I was trying to build the game engine and marketing it, and I was trying to build audience, and I was running into challenges that I was struggling with to put myself out there, essentially, because it's so important to build an audience and get early feedback. And I discovered that, I guess, what worked for me and I think would be useful for a lot of people is, we've heard the term build in public, but I think the value of that is more the accountability that you put on yourself when you put yourself out there versus doing it alone in your basement and not telling anybody about it. Then it's easy to shelve an idea and not continue with it. And so I had some experiences last summer that really made that clear to me. And then more recently, my brother was actually starting a planking challenge as a New Year's resolution, and it kind of seems off topic, but it'll tie in together. And he was telling me about it, and I was like, I'll join you, and we can text each other every day to support each other. And we started doing that, and I invited a few other people, and being on this kind of group chat every day and reporting in was really helpful in sticking with the challenge and also developing deeper relationships with the people that were in that group, essentially. And that's what inspired the product that I'm working on now, and it's called MyPacts. And so it's like you're making a pact with friends to do planking, do push-ups, do meditations, to posting on LinkedIn, whatever it is your challenge that you're struggling with, a way to join with other people and share that struggle and develop friendships and relationships that way.
Wow. Yeah, that is very inspiring story. As an entrepreneur, sometimes even individual, you feel like you're alone and you wanted to do something different or do something good at this plan, but you feel like you're alone and you kind of falling behind. But when you have a mentor or when you have friends, when you have a group that supports the ecosystem, it helps us so much to go further, right? And then inspiring each other. So I love that what you do. So can you tell me a little bit about your story, that how you get into your career? Like, because this is something that was there some defining moments that shaped you the path that you're on today?
Sure. I did my computing science degree, and after that, mostly did enterprise level software development for the next decade. I thought that I wanted to get more into business analysis, project management. So I did my MBA, and then I ended up doing some consulting work with my brother, and his company pivoted to doing game development. So I got completely sidetracked, and I became a game developer for 6 years. And I think what that taught me was, as much as I like business, I like building more. And shortly after leaving the game company, that's when I built the Silent Auction app. And again, building was what was fulfilling for me. And so that was kind of a defining moment, the early success I had there. And it's got me chasing that ever since.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by no code platform?
Sure.
Yeah, some people are not familiar with that concept.
Okay, yeah. The idea is that people can build a game without having to write any code, any scripts, right? They can upload their images, they can create game components, define how game components, how the player can interact with the game components. So it's almost like a business rules engine. So rather than having scripts that make an object running around the screen, it's all about decision making, and you can build your world of objects that a player can interact with. So you can open a chest, or you can attack an enemy. The thinking is that you could also make complex simulations, like you could do a business simulation where how many resources do you put towards product development versus testing versus marketing, and kind of modeling that on the game engine so that players can experience what that looks like.
Awesome. Wow. So, yeah, I did a little bit of research about that. No code requires, there's a lot of AI agents out there that it allows to do so too. But I don't think not everybody, like, how can I say? So not everybody just can go in and then start to developing the app. I think definitely we need to someone understand the market, and then if there's any, the needs, the demands is there too. Yeah. It's going to be make sense.
That was kind of the motivating factor for me, was the gaming market is super saturated. There's like 20,000 games get put on Steam every year. The thinking I had was that creators could create games to simulate their expertise essentially, and then market it to their followers as a way to get a deeper understanding of what it is that the creators talking about. So like the most obvious example is, like, if you have a gardening podcast or a gardening newsletter, you could build a little gardening game essentially, or could be about like building a hair studio, how to build a hair studio, grow your customer base, buying tools, leasing a space, whatever. So that was the idea, is that it's more about empowering creators who aren't technical to create experiences that let them share their experience with their audience.
Oh, awesome. So definitely anyone who has a lots of ideas, but not sure how to start because they don't have the IT background, never done any coding, definitely it's something, would you offer the services that they can, look into?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I think I should talk to you later after this podcast too. So awesome. So you built everything from a silent auction app and evolve into like game engines, and now you're developing a non-code platform for the interactive simulations, and also helping other entrepreneurs looking into developing one of theirs. So what do you think sets you apart from a founder? Is it your rapid validation mindset, or cross-industry system thinking, or your focus on user-driven interaction that gives you an edge? What would you say?
I think it's definitely the experimentation. The one thing I would say is a big mistake a lot of founders make is, and I've made it in the past myself too, is to assume that you know what the market wants. And you don't know. Nobody knows. You don't know what ad's going to do the best. You can spend so much time perfecting your messaging, but nothing's going to compare to actually running the ad and looking at the analytics, essentially. And it's the same thing with product. If you spend too much time building, thinking you know what it is that the customer is going to want, you're going to burn a lot of money and potentially build something nobody wants.
Yeah, that's very important, right? You don't want to find out there's no demands after you put a lot of invest in, in terms of money and time, and yeah, what do you think after? So, okay, for any listeners who wanted to step into entrepreneurship, especially those building software products, what advice would you give? Like you mentioned briefly a little bit about that market demands and the research importance of research before, but were there any specific mindset shift or lessons from launching your first product in 2018 that helped you more from experimentation to building scalable, strategic-driven platform?
I think, again, back to what I said just previously, I think the biggest advice would be to find a customer for the thing that you're building before you start building. Ideally, you'd be co-creating the product with someone who wants the product, essentially. I'm not sure if it's a quote, but there's a guy on LinkedIn, Rob Schneider, who talks about product market fit. And most people think that they need to build something in order to generate demand. But his concept is that you have to flip that around, and the demand already exists out there, and you just need to find it. Because if you're trying to get a customer interested in what you've built, you're pushing on a string. Like, that's not going to happen. Whereas if you tap into demand that's already there, then you're just going to get swept up in it.
Right. I love that. Yeah, actually, I can relate that your story so much. Sometimes we find that someone actually wants something, and then we can get so much ideas why they want this, what they want, or what they're looking for. So that it's much easier to find the things that meets their criteria, rather than we find something without talking to other people actually who are going to be actual consumers. So that totally makes sense to me. So what is one of the biggest challenges you've had overcome in your career?
I think one big challenge was my co-founder that I joined up to commercialize the silent auction app. And we had a falling out. We had a difference of opinion of how the company should move forward, of how products should be marketed. And I've been part of a group coaching, startup founder group coaching kind of session, which has been great, having peers to talk to. And that is a very recurring theme, is problems with co-founders. And I think the best advice I could give there is, obviously, communication is key. But if I could narrow that down even further, I would say there's a quote that I really like. It's unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments. So if you're expecting something of your partner, but you haven't let them know, you haven't told them, you haven't agreed that that's an expectation that they're going to fulfill, you're just setting yourself up for resenting him later for not meeting those expectations, right? So having those expectations laid out and really clear about how you're going to approach the problem, that's super important.
Yeah, for any relationship too, right? So I really love that idea that just let's set up the expectation up front, rather than trying to read the lines or between the lines, or try to read somebody else's mind, which is very hard to do. Sometimes we don't even know what we want ourselves too. So
exactly, yeah.
I love that. So what exciting plans do you have, plans or initiatives do you upcoming over the next 6 to 12 months?
I'm particularly excited about this new MyPacts app, and I'm in that exciting but scary phase of talking to customers. I mean, I've launched it with a few friends and colleagues, but now I need to branch out more broadly and start looking for that market demand. And I've always been more of an engineer, and as an engineer, it's tempting to go back to building product because that's where we're comfortable versus talking to people. And I mean, it's ultimately going to require some cold outreach, right? It's scary stuff. but that's critical.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. If you are not expanding, we are shrinking. So I think that's a critical, step to in order to continue grow our business and even personal level too. So I love that. So it sounds like you're doing things are going really good, well for you and your business. And congratulations with all the new apps that to be launched soon. So many business, professionals, business owners, they are earning strong incomes right now, but it often requires significant investment of time and energy. And looking ahead, a common goal is to maintain that same level of income or like a lifestyle where working a little bit less, especially with inflation at all-time high. So as a result, many people are exploring ways to generate income outside of their primary work, such as investing in stocks, cryptocurrency, and precious metal or real estate. What are your thoughts on income outside of work?
I mean, that's to be transparent. I do have a day job as well, so I'm building these products on the side for that purpose. Essentially, I mean, I would love to have a lifestyle business and hopefully even more that can generate some income to supplement what my salary is. Yeah, for sure. Like investing has been a mixed bag. I think the important thing there is I think I'd suggest people focus on getting some dividend kind of investments that generate that income. One lesson I wish I'd understood better in my youth is that a stock that pays a 5% dividend 20 years ago, that payout now would be a much larger percentage, right? Mm-hmm. So on that original investment, your dividend payout could be 30% a year, which is phenomenal, and that's the power of compounding, of course.
Awesome. Klaus, thank you so much for your time today and sharing some of your great insights and then inspiring stories with us. As wrap up our interview, is there anything else would you like to share with our audience that we haven't discussed here yet?
No, I don't think so. I think we cover all the bases. Yeah.
Awesome. So it was a real pleasure to have you on the show, Klaus, today. If people would like to connect with you, how they can get a hold of you?
Definitely connect with me over LinkedIn is probably the easiest.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any website or do you have any?
That would all be linked to from my LinkedIn profile, which I probably need to update as well. So
Awesome. So they just look up your name, Klaus Rubba, and they should be able to find all the information.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one on LinkedIn, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Right. Yeah. Rubba is very unique name. Do you mind if I ask, what is your ethnicity or?
My dad has a German background, but it's not really a German name either. We're not even 100% sure where it's from. So yeah.
Awesome.
The only other thing I'd ask is if you or anybody you know is looking to tackle a challenge, have a look me up for that app. It's MyPacts.com, and create a pact and let me know how it goes.
Definitely, I'm going to connect with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Klaus, today.
Thank you, Amy.
Pleasure to have you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at TrueNorthSuccessShow.com/guest. We'd love to hear from you.